Good morning. Good morning. We're going to give it a minute or so to let everybody in. You should be seeing my screen. You should be hearing my voice. It's a balmy 22 degrees this morning here in Utah. The delights of spring in the Rocky Mountains. I have to change the screen. Well, I haven't started. Well, I mean, I kind of have, I guess. All right. Welcome out to the Market Watch Group weekly opening bell. It's good to see everybody. Good morning to you, Bob. Good morning, Perry. Good morning, Michael. 46 degrees in the Northeast. 50s in Georgia. Grayland says, good morning. Oh. Michael, you mean the waiting room. It's funny that you say that because as I was turning it on this morning, I'm like, wait, do I still have that? Thank you for saying that because I was going to confirm. Yep, I know exactly what you mean, and I know how to take care of it. All right, let's dive in. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Here are the disclaimers. We are not advisors. We are not brokers. We don't give advice. We don't give guidance. We're all here to learn, to talk, to process. Here's our agenda. Today's agenda. We'll talk about the opening futures and the news that we're expecting today. We'll quickly take a look at the economic calendar and we'll review our posture. What are our expectations? What are we thinking about? Mindset for open trades. Definitely have some that we're carrying forward. We'll talk about those, of course. Microsoft, Meta, Picard, Caterpillar, name a few. I would expect you guys are carrying a few trades as well. We'll talk about the early week, not early week. I'm going to have to change my slides because I'm doing it a little differently. I'm just making one weekly watch list. That's where everything will come from. Anything that is potentially going to give a signal, we should have it on a watch list, and that's what we're going to be using. That list had a good number. I put it in the email, and I differentiated it by sector. So that's new. Right? What are we missing? We don't have much by way of energy, nor of materials. Our wishful thinking is that it just retraces and doesn't stay bullish, but we should probably be ready if it does. And we are moving on to analytics, second to last trading section. As long as you did your record keeping endeavors, meaning your logging, you're entering trades into your log. It doesn't take it's a very quick and easy entry. As long as you're doing that, everything else will be fine. Your analytics will happen. It's a matter of you're not like running analytics. It's a matter of going and doing it, but knowing what you're doing. Okay. Good morning, press. Good to see you. Oh, we've got a couple stragglers. Ribeyes, we're glad to hear it. I smoked a bunch of chicken tenderloins to have for the week for some salads and pasta this week. Anyway, all right, let's get into it. All right. What do we know? What do we know? Futures drifted a little bit overnight, but are picking up here this morning. Uh, Diamond flags worries over stickier inflation and higher rates. Well, I mean, we all are worried about stickier inflation. We're all worried about that. That's why we're watching the Fed to see if they're going to kick this can down the road. And we're worried. I don't think we're worried about higher rates unless they mean staying at what we already have as rates that are higher, not meaning that the Fed is going to raise them higher from now. I don't see that at all at this point. If that's what he's saying, then that's a new concern. So, all right. Why Diamond, Musk, and Ackman took sides in the Disney Peltz battle? Don't care. Musk hypes robo taxi in effort to rescue Tesla. My understanding, you tell me if anyone knows more than I do about this. The full autonomous driving is really not as, I mean, like it, my Forerunner has lane, not Forerunner, my Highlander has lane assist, and it steers itself back into the keep it straight, it'd stop itself if I didn't with something coming up. So is there some assists? And I know that Tesla's is quite a bit more than that, but that the reliability of full autonomous driving is still quite a bit of ways. Although what's interesting is, we have an autonomous driving accident. Everyone's like, oh yeah, like we'll ever have. But it's like, I mean, come on, look at humans. How well do we drive? What's our driving record that we're standing on with accidents and fatalities on a yearly basis across the country that we don't think an autonomous driving that has some accidents here there isn't still going to be an improvement. I don't know. That's just my thought. Okay. Anything else in the news? Don't see much, and that's actually kind of to be expected. We already said, yeah, there's not much early this week. When does the news come? It comes on Wednesday. Today, we don't have anything. There's really not much news here in that regard. The optimism index, no one pays attention to that. That's Tuesday. Today, there's nothing. Nothing. These are taxi for short drives in New York City. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, short, but full of traffic, full of lights, full of pedestrians. So, what do we have going on? Well, we have Neil Kashkari speaking again. He threw some disruptions into the market last week. And of course, we have Austin Goolsbee, our new favorite Fed member, Austin Goolsbee, is speaking. I'm just kidding. I don't expect anything from either of those. Wednesday, what do we have? CPI. We have CPI Wednesday morning. We have minutes from the March FOMC meeting. Thursday, we have standard jobless claims still expected to come in the low 200s. And we have what else? PPI. PPI, including a number of Fed speakers, including Austin Goolsbee again. Excuse me, again. Amazing. Consumer sentiment on Friday. So yeah, what's the news this week? It's inflation. That's all we care about. Inflation, inflation, inflation. Okay, let's take a quick peek at our Fed watch. Of course, in May, which is now only 3 weeks and change away, no expectations. June, 50-50. 50-50 in June. Which, if you look, you can always trace. So you can look at 1 month, 1 week, 1 day now. And if you look at this, this is where we see the adjustment. A month ago, only 26% of people thought it would stay. A week ago, it's 42. Now it's 48. Okay. Yeah. So it's looking less and less like early summer and more like the first possibility is midsummer. And so that's July is where we still have credit to this group, right? We've had a lot of prognostication in the June, July. This is going back at the beginning of the year. Yeah. June is iffy, right? This week we'll see. I think we'll know. And you're thinking, wait, they have until June. Yeah, kind of. I mean, I think we'll know this week. That's my feeling. If the inflation is stalled this week on these two numbers, then I'm gonna say the probability shifts harder to July. Thoughts? What are your thoughts? So let's go look at, yeah, so you can see it's still better than 2-1 to get that cut starting in July. Oh, perfect. There's our opening bell. So we're looking at a bullish opening. You can see we're starting up about 0.17. And this is coming off of a bullish recovery day after a big bearish engulfing, right? You can see on this day we gapped up and we're like, hey, look at how great things are. And then Mr. Kashkari comes out and he's like, well, I don't even know if we're going to get a rate cut in 2024. And the market's like, what? Sells off. Next day, gap up a little, recover some today, up a little bit. So the question is, how do we bounce off of this? You can see that I have this nice old long-term trend line. That's what this red one is. We're still above the 50. Seems to be holding on that. I think things look fine from right here. Yeah. That's my thought. I think we look just fine. There's no concerns. Well, no, that's not true. There's no concerns. There are concerns. Let's talk about what those are. Let's go to the VIX. Yes, this is a concern. Now I'm not like scared. I'm concerned. What is my concern? My concern is that we just spiked up and we scored that. We were down here and this was our highs. And then all of a sudden it was like, boom, we were looking great right here. This was all set for a lower low. And then Neil Kashkari had to throw some salt in the game. You can see pushed us from what looked like was going to be a lower high. And then all of a sudden smashed right through and it broke right through all of these. We scored that a minus and now we're sitting up here. So what's the concern now? The concern now is that this was our low and we've now popped up to here. From here, we need to get back. I know I terribly drew that line. Let me start over. We were down here. It popped up. It popped up, got to here. Now what? Well, if we get a big bull run that lasts the rest of April, it's going to come down and come like this and break right through here. And okay, no problem. Anything other than that, if it comes down here, and let's just keep our eye right around this 14 mark, which is also where the moving average is. If it comes down here and turns, this thing comes down and turns, this is definitely a higher low. What does that mean? It means we are concerned about escalation. Where does escalation get us? I would say the concern is up here. You can see that's where we were back there in October when we were going through corrective behavior, because that's what we would be worried about right now, right? Let's characterize let's put it on put a list. Are we scared of a bear market? No. No, why would we be scared of a bear market? This market right now is 2% off of its highs, 2%. So perspective. Has it slowed down? Yes, clearly. It's eased a little bit, and we're kind of watching like, well, what's for us? Phenomenal labor market, a Fed that wants to cut rates, corporate earnings are good. Right? So that's strong. What's working against us? There's Middle East conflict corresponding with Israel, and that's there's that conflict. We have the European conflict that continues. At any time, what these things can do because of where they're located can significantly disrupt energy productions, and or concerns of supply. And when that happens, we see markets rally, oil, gold, steel, aluminum, all our materials. So here we are. All right. Yeah, there it is. That's our story. So what am I doing? Holding some bullish. We'll see a few. Looking for some bullish, but cautious about this potential disruption. If this comes, will I hedge? Yes, automatically. And I will quickly take action with bullish trades. This is going to be a concerning thing if we see this develop, right? There's been some weirdness. The VIX has had this weird, like, that was hard. That was strange. It certainly had us scratching our heads, and then it seemed like it had finally started to come back down, and then boom. So yeah, this is where for me, I'm like my dog with his head cocked a little to the side, like, what the hell is going on here? What is going on? Okay. All right, let's get to our watch list. Did we look at everything else? Are you trading? How are you trading? We looked at the futures in the news, the economic calendar. Carefully. Let's talk about our market posture, and then we'll get into the opening range and our list. So our posture, if you missed it, did drop. And we said it was likely to drop last week. Did it drop enough for us to be like, uh-oh? No. If it's less than one, even if it's 1.5, I'd be like, yeah, 1.5 concerning. But it didn't. Now, if it drops the second week, then we'll be like, oh, now we're concerned again. So, yes. Yes. All right. What dropped? Long-term score stayed the same. So no change here. Short term did drop by a quarter of a point, convincingly having broken below the opening range. Volume dropped a quarter of a point. We moved into a tie situation. So this week should be interesting to see if we get any in above average volume days. Major market stayed the same. No change on major market. Sector rotation stayed the same. Volatility dropped a quarter of a point. Okay. Let's get to the watch list if I can find it. Gonna trade energy outright for the next couple of months, taking profits. Okay. Definitely look for that consolidation first. But yeah, I agree. I think that makes sense. Okay. Apple, starting at the top. Does my toggle work today? Nope. Never works anymore. Never works anymore. Okay. Apple AIG is on our list, and that is looking close. What's not working? Okay. So what should happen, and I want, if you guys are wanting to test to help me with this, that would be amazing. What should happen is you should be able to click on the arrows when you're on the, let's say if you click on the last price on your watch list and your watch list is connected. When you click on it with your mouse, it advances it to that. But when you start clicking on your arrow keys, it should toggle down your list. So it's much quicker and easier to do. So yeah, that's not working. It's quite frustrating. Quite frustrating. Okay. Okay. Yours works and mine doesn't? All right. I gotta look into it. AIG is on the list though. Looks bullish. Looks like it's getting ready for its next move. I would say that's viable even today. If it stays. I mean, we're 11 minutes in. I say viable, meaning like if it holds up, viable. AMD is a no. Amazon is not something we're really looking at, although it looks like it's accelerating, which is good. AXP is on our list. Absolutely. Boeing is a no. BAC is on our list. You don't have much time, but it is ready to go. It seems good. You have a little bit of time before earnings, but not too much. BLDR. It's trying. It's on our list. It's trying on its second try. But if this thing rolls over here, yeah, we're gonna have some concerns about that for sure. Okay, what else? What else? What else? What else? City. Oh, City looks great. The financials look great. Um, the I was thinking about them. We'll see what happens today, and then if any alerts come out for those uh as well. So let's keep going. 4 days is all you have. That's right. You'd be in and out. Caterpillar still looks good, still going. That's one that I held. CMG looks like it's trying to turn. Capital One, again, financials are on point. Oil overextended. Costco, a little under the 50. CrowdStrike, I have it on the list, but only if it holds and bounces off the 50. Delta looks like it's trying to turn around, but earnings are right around the corner. DHI Home Builders, same kind of a thing. What else? Okay. Ford. Ford trying. I mean, look, that's on our list. Fastenal's on our list. Looks like it's trying to turn around here. Very close to earnings though. GBTC. Ooh, look at Bitcoin making a 7% pop all of a sudden. Yeah, what else? Okay. GE stalling a little bit, gold. Let's see. Google. Oh, look how strong Google is. I thought Google was going to pull back. It doesn't seem to be pulling back. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. Home Depot under what under the 50. IBM is on our list if it can bounce. Intel underwater. IWM trying to bounce. Look at small caps up 0.7. JP Morgan on our list, but not long before earnings. Capital One probably had the longest amount of time. Um, yeah. Okay, what else? Okay. Yeah, mine is not working well at all. Meta slowing down. Ooh, look good. Now it's kind of easing up a little bit. If you're in it, you might be thinking about locking in some gains. Morgan Stanley has plenty of time before earnings. Still looks pretty good for a setup. Mm-hmm. We've got Microsoft on a little bit of a pause. Don't love it. It's a little pause. We'll see what happens. Gonna be patient. Netflix, a little pause. Nvidia still set up. So you can see the tech. We'll get to the here and just actually let's pause. Let's take a look at it now. Looking at the Fed watch. Colors are just needing to update. Google's holding up, but not much else is in a little bit of Micron. Tesla up 3% on Musk trying to drum up some news. Yeah, it's a little bit of a shaky start. We'll see where it gets to, though. After this shaky start, let's finish the watch list. What does it mean to us? Well, if we pick up strength, then by the end of the day, I think we'll have trading signals that we're looking to take. If it eases up, then we're going to look to manage any bullish trades that we're in and hold off on any new trading signals, waiting for more one, right? So that's kind of the thought process that I'm having right now. Picard still trying, still holding up. PLTR, iffy. QQQ. QQQ flat, but still holding up. SMCI getting beat up a little today. 3.5% down. Here's the S&P. Okay. We now have our opening range, which has pulled back from the high. So yeah, if we can break out of the range, I think we'll end up higher and we'll possibly have signals. If we break down the range, then I think we're going to have more of the same, a little bit more, consolidation. Okay. Okay. What's next? TSM. Gapped up, but pulled back. All right. Gapped up, but pulled back. The VIX is just kind of flat right now. Just kind of flat on the VIX. Still a bit concerning, though. Waste management looks great for a setup. If this thing stabilizes, I think they're definitely going to have. And Walmart's looking good, holding up. Lastly, what do we have? The XLs, XLB. Starting to go a little sideways. That would be great. XLC holding up. Energy looks too strong. Financials looks like it's ready to bounce. I like that. So does industrials. Technology's holding up. Staples a little under the 50, but still okay. Utilities, I mean, everything's still holding up. Not healthcare. I'm okay with that. Consumer discretionary is not great. We're mostly holding up. Yeah, we got to see. We got to see what happens this week. This will be an interesting one. I think today will be interesting to see how we finish even just today. Let's take a look at this week's trading plan outline. So remember, we're now on analytics. If you have filled out your trade log, then there is automated analytics waiting for you here. But getting a sense of how you use this, yeah, it's important, right? You don't want to have all this good information that tells you how well do you take losses, what is your reward to risk ratio? Are your losses getting bigger or smaller? Are your wins getting bigger or smaller? Is your win rate increasing or decreasing? This is all about helping to demonstrate trends. Do you have trends? And based on those trends, whether they're good or bad, if they're good, you work to keep them. If they're bad, you work to fix them. That's how we look to then adjust our rules. All right. Questions, comments? It's quiet today. I know we're all a little bit more cautious. We're hopeful for a bullish April, but right now we're not sure. It looks okay still. I'm like I said, until I'm convinced otherwise, I'm looking for it. So let's see what this week brings us. By way of news, by way of Fed speak, by way of market activity. All right. Well, what's next? Tomorrow night, tomorrow evening, we will be working in the options venue with calendar spreads. So hopefully you can join us for a working session where we're going to be, if you missed Thursday, you should go watch it before Tuesday. It's where we lay the groundwork. And then we'll talk about building them tomorrow night. So please join me to build calendar spreads. Should be great. I hope you have a great rest of your day. It's good to see everybody. I will see you tomorrow. And as always, happy trading.